Welcome to Brewers Daily. I'm your host, Dave Gasper. Lots to get to here on the show. If you enjoy the show, be sure to subscribe, get notified every single time a new episode drops. We'll have another pitcher highlight coming up here later on in the show. But the Brewers did make an announcement here on Wednesday. Their spring broadcast schedule is out, which is fantastic. Spring training games getting started here on Saturday. So knowing where we will be able to hear and see and watch these games is going to be great. So the Brewers have announced that these games for spring training are majority going to be just broadcast on the radio. 20 of the 31 Cactus League games are going to be on the Brewers radio network. So, WTMJ or whatever station you normally get it on from wherever you're listening. 14 of them on 620, 6 of them on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee for here in the Milwaukee area. Elsewhere around the state, it's going to be your usual Brewers radio network station. So that's for 20 of the 31 games. There are going to be 8 games that will be broadcast on Brewers.tv. That's going to be, the new thing, kind of replacing FanDuel, because FanDuel Sports Network is going under. The Brewers have gone to MLB's broadcast, MLB.tv. So Brewers.tv, which is free with a valid MLB.com account in the MLB app. So you're going to be able to get that, 8 games there on TV, and 8 additional games will be live streamed at Brewers.com. So all you got to do is go to the Brewers website, and they'll have a live stream up right there on the homepage for you to be able to click on, watch, and you can see the whole game there. Kind of a light broadcast, but still you can get some video watching the Brewers spring training game. So with the first game here of spring training coming up on Saturday against Cleveland, that game will be broadcast on the radio on WTMJ here in Milwaukee and the Brewers radio network. And then the first 2 TV broadcasts are going to involve other teams' TV broadcasts. So you're going to get the White Sox TV crew putting together the game on Sunday. So the second game of spring training coming up on Sunday here against the White Sox, you'll be able to get it on Brewers.tv, but the announcers you hear will not be the Brewers announcers. They will be the White Sox announcers. That's everyone, just because the game's going to be at the White Sox Stadium and everyone just kind of pools the resources together. The Brewers will just take their feed. That's just how it works for a lot of these spring training games. The Brewers have done that a ton with the Los Angeles Angels in the past. The Angels have, the TV broadcasts of their games, and we just see the feed, from the Angels and their broadcasters. But this year, the Angels are not doing any games on any spring training games on TV, which is wild. So you may look at the 8 that the Brewers have, and it's like, oh man, that's not a lot, but it's 8 more than the Los Angeles Angels. And then also Monday, the 23rd, at the Padres. That one is going to be using the Padres announcers. The first game with the Brewers TV crew with BA, Rock, Vinny, Tim Dillard, Sophia, all those guys. That first game is going to be February 28th. So not this Sunday, but the next Sunday. That's going to be the first one with that Brewers TV crew. And also, they're going to be broadcasting the games on March 4th against the Cubs, because it's the Cubs, March 9th against the Dodgers, and March 21st against the Padres. Also, additionally, the Brewers putting in here, the last broadcast of the Cactus League schedule will be on Brewers.tv. Sunday, March 22nd at the Cubs. It's going to be a marquee production, so you're getting the Cubs announcers for that one. So, that's what you're going to get. And then the exhibition schedule will close with the 2 games at American Family Field against the Reds, and those are going to be on the Brewers radio network. So just with the radio guys, not going to be the TV crew on that one. Also, the spring breakout games, the prospect games, those are going to be on Brewers.tv as well, and all of MLB's digital platforms. So we have the spring broadcast schedule out, a lot of radio games, a couple on TV. And now I know a lot of you are going to be asking, what channel is this going to be on? This Brewers.tv, they said it was going to be on cable and available for all these other streaming options. The Brewers have not yet announced what channel that's going to be. with going to MLB for their TV production this season. They said that they do want to provide options for, cable. They want to provide options for streaming, and find those other ways. They have not yet announced what channels that's going to be, details on how that's going to end up working out. All we know is that these are the days that they are going to have those TV productions of those broadcasts. So you're going to have, your MLB.TV, your Brewers TV subscription that you can sign up for, and that's going to be the major deal, at least right now, to work through. Once they announce what channel it's going to be on and further details of how you can watch the Brewers, certainly have that dispersed, on my social media at dgasper24, and of course here on the channel on Brewers Daily, we'll be talking about it to make sure that you can get your dose of Brewers baseball, not just with this show and this channel, but also watching the actual games. So that's going to be coming up with the spring broadcast as Cactus League play gets underway here. Also, what you're going to notice with these broadcasts is the ABS system. Okay, because this is now coming in place for the season in 2026. It's going to be in spring training here, and it's going to be in play now in the regular season. The robo-umps are here. You are going to have players being able to challenge ball strike calls at the plate. They got to do it immediately. And, only the hitter, the catcher, or the pitcher are able to challenge. Now, most managers are not going to allow their pitchers to challenge any pitches. They're going to leave that up to the catcher to make those decisions. Hitters, it's going to be very interesting to see how Pat Murphy wants to play this for this group. Talking about, what counts do you challenge in? What players do you allow to kind of challenge? Do you give them a green light to challenge whenever they want, even if it's the first inning, okay? Because teams get 2 challenges that they are able to use. So if you are successful in your challenges, you are able to keep them, all right? So you have just the 2, but if you get one wrong, if you challenge and the call is upheld, then you lose that challenge. Then you're down to just 1. If you do it again and you lose, you have no more challenges the rest of the way. You just got to take the ball strike calls as they come. You cannot challenge them, no matter how egregious it is. So you're going to be a little bit judicious with it. And we saw a little bit last spring because they experimented with this last spring training in a couple of stadiums. And the challenges ended up being about 50-50, for calls getting overturned. So, there's going to be times where you get it right. There's going to be times where you just miss, pitch just caught the corner or just missed the corner, whatever it was. And, that's going to be how it rolls. But I'm very excited for this opportunity to see how the robo-umps, the ABS system, automated ball strike, is going to work this year. There were some very egregious calls last year and just over the past several years. So that's going to be debuting. So also they're getting rid of the box on those TV broadcasts. So, the strike zone that you're used to seeing, the rectangle where it's like you see the pitch come in, you see it's like, oh, that was a strike, or oh, that was outside. They're getting rid of that. Number one, because that strike zone is not the same as the ABS strike zone. Okay, it's not the most accurate strike zone out there. So why bother showing it? You're going to have everyone thinking, that was a strike, and then they get to ABS. Nope, no, it wasn't. Or that was a ball, that was a ball. Nope, no, it wasn't, when you challenge it with ABS. So they're getting rid of that altogether. And with the challenge system, I think we're going to ultimately end up knowing what ends up being a ball or a strike. So that's going to be a big change that you're going to notice throughout the broadcast this season as well. All right, let's get into a pitcher highlight here as spring training is unfolding. And today I want to highlight Quinn Priester. Another one of your key pieces in the starting rotation. Quinn Priester, he is going to be an absolutely massive piece for this team this season. I mean, they're expecting quite a bit from him. He is one of 3 guys that I think are just pure locks for the starting rotation coming into the season. It's Woodruff, it is Jacob Misiorowski, and it is Quinn Priester. What Quinn Priester did last season has absolutely earned him lock status for the rotation coming into this year. Comes over in the trade early on in April. Hadn't really had much success with Boston. Comes into the Brewers and just lights it up. 29 games, a 3.32 ERA, a 13-3 record. I don't really care as much about win-loss records generally, but a 13-3 record. The man won, or the Brewers won 19 games in a row that he pitched last season. I mean, he went from May 24th, where the Brewers lost 2-1. He went 6 innings, gave up 1 run. Okay, in that start, the Brewers lost, but then the Brewers did not lose again in a game that he started until his final one of the regular season, September 26th. From May 24th to September 26th, the Brewers did not lose a game in which Quinn Priester pitched. It was absurd. It was stupid. And he did have a couple of clunkers in there. I mean, he had the game against the Mets, 4 1/3, 6 runs. The Brewers ended up winning 7-6. It was just incredible, the run that he was on. But I mean, he had some fantastic ones in there too. 6 shutout against the Dodgers, striking out 10, scattering 3 hits in July. You know, he had 7 innings, 1-run ball against the Braves in August. I mean, he was just dynamite for the Brewers. And what they're able to do with him, just fantastic. Quinn Priester, sinker, slider, cutter, curve combo primarily. He's got a changeup he kind of throws in there a little bit, but not a lot. But yeah, that 4-pitch mix, and doesn't generate a ton of strikeouts, but the dude gets ground balls. And that's, I think, a big part, too, of why the Brewers have so much success, why they like him so much, and why defense is so important for the Brewers. He's got a 93rd percentile ground ball rate. He keeps the ball on the ground in the ballpark 55.7% of the time. It's on the ground. Priester, this is going to be a very, very big season for him because last year was his breakout. Can he maintain this level of performance? Because he does have the pedigree, yes, first round pick and all of that. But prior to this in his career, he has not had that level of success. Just bouncing around with Pittsburgh, with Boston, really kind of struggled to get going at the major league level. But this is also where the Brewers thrive, helping guys develop and helping guys to make adjustments to turn into being very successful pitchers. So, can he repeat a 3.3 ERA this season? I think that's going to be a big question, and I certainly hope so. I think he has the stuff to. I think he has the ability to repeat that kind of performance. And just being able to, just continue to miss barrels, keep the ball on the ground, and with the great defense that the Brewers have behind him, that should lead to quite a bit of success. I don't think this is going to be a one-off for Quinn Priester. It's not exactly like he came out of nowhere, like a guy like Tobias Myers, perhaps. So I think with that, I think there's a lot more indicators that this should be pretty consistent success here for Priester. So I'm very excited for what he's going to be able to bring this year in the Brewers starting rotation. He's going to be part of that big three. I think him, Woodruff, and Mizorowski, they're forming your core of this rotation. And Priester can solidify himself as a pretty solid number 2 going forward behind Mizorowski. Because I think Mizorowski, as we've talked about previously in a pitcher highlight, Mizorowski is in line to potentially be your ace of the future. He has the stuff to be that dominant ace. Will he get there? This is going to be a big season for that. But Quinn Priester, I think, can be a very, very solid number 2 right behind him. And this is going to be another big season for him to be able to repeat the great performance that he had last season. That's going to be very important. So very excited to see that from Quinn. All right, and finally here, before we get out, I want to talk about this. Sal Frelick is not in the World Baseball Classic. We already knew that. The rosters already came out a little bit ago. But it was a bit of a surprise to most that Sal Frelick was not in it, just with the production that he's put up. Obviously would be one of the better players on Team Italy. He played for them before in the last World Baseball Classic. But this year, he chose not to return. Now, this was not because Italy did not want him. Italy certainly wanted him back. He was originally planning on playing for Team Italy this year. But Sal Frelick talked to reporters, including Adam McCalvey of MLB.com, who had a great article put out there, Just talking about, his end of the year MRIs. He was pretty banged up, and he just kind of wanted to be smart and just have a full off season of just trying to get healthy and get ready to go for the next season. He talked with the team and it's like, let's maybe ease it back here a little bit. Let's just get ready for the 162 game slog, because let's face it, Sal's going to get banged up again. Okay, he's going to get beat up because it's just the way that he plays. All right, he gets his jersey dirty earlier than anyone in baseball. I mean, it's insane. By the end of the first inning, he somehow has dirt all over his jersey, no matter what, every single time. So I think for Sal, it does make some sense to just kind of like, hey, let's ease off the off-season tournaments, the playing for country and other things. Let's just get, and Sal said he wanted to get to 200% coming into spring. So he could just be fully ready for opening day and the regular season. So yeah, I think that's smart for him. Last year he had the hamstring issue that put him on the IL. He had the knee injury, kind of towards the end of the season. That was bugging him a little bit, that he was trying to play through because he's just so tough when it comes to wanting to be out there. So I think with the hamstring, with the knee, it makes the most sense to just kind of like, let's take it easy and just be ready to go for the regular season, because that is the big priority for Sal and certainly for the Milwaukee Brewers. So we'll be able to see Sal coming up soon. I'm not sure how soon in Cactus League play we'll see him. But Cactus League play is going to be starting on Saturday. Radio broadcast for that. TV broadcast, first one will be on Sunday. And also be sure every single day to get Brewers Daily. Subscribe, get notified every single time a new episode drops. And follow me on Twitter at dgasper24. And we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.